Welcome to Networks Learning. My name is Riazgul. In today's video, we are going to see how we can configure Destination NAT on Palo Alto Firewall. In my previous video, I have shown you how you can do source NAT on Firewall, Palo Alto Firewall. So Destination NAT over here, we will consider static Destination NAT. There are two kinds of Destination NATs as well. You have Destination Static NAT and you have Dynamic NAT. Static NAT means you map one-to-one IP addresses, one public IP address map to the private IP address to NAT your internet traffic towards your LAN segment. So basically, internet users use your public IP address or your domain to access your locally LAN hosted services from outside the internet. You have some email servers, some application servers which are hosted on your LAN segment. You use Destination NAT to make these services available to the internet users. So basically, Destination NAT should be configured on edge, where you have some public or routable IP addresses to the internet. So in this scenario, we are going to use one of the IP addresses from our WAN pool, which is 10.10.50.0. This WAN pool is also reachable from my physical machine. Over here, I have configured one static route towards the edge router. Edge router is configured with a default route towards my physical machine. So I have reachability to this subnet. So we'll use one of the IP address 10.10.50.3 to translate it to 192.168.1.50, which is my LAN server connected on LAN's zone for the connectivity and to test this scenario. Basic routing is there, but we need to configure a routing. We need to configure NAT and the security policy for NAT traffic to pass from the firewall. So the basic phenomena on Palo Alto Firewall with respect to the packet processing is first thing is the route lookup. The second part is NAT. The third part comes with the security policy. So we are going to configure 10.10.50.3 as a public IP address and will NAT to the 192.168.1.50. So this is how it will work. So we are going towards the configuration directly. Inside the configuration, I'll show you some of the key points with respect to the Destination NAT, so you have a clear idea that what are the parameters and how you can configure Destination NAT on your network devices. So moving towards policies, we are going to NAT policy. You can see my previous from my previous lab. This is the source NAT configuration over here. We are going to configure a Destination NAT. Destination NAT LAN RDP. So we'll check the RDP session because it's IP based. You can say enablement, like it will be open with respect to IP base. There is no port restriction we are configuring in this lab, but we'll check with RDP as well. So source zone would be my WAN zone. Why I'm selecting my source zone original packet? Because this is the internet. So traffic is coming from internet towards this segment 10.10.50.3, which is my considered over here as public IP address. It's not public, but with respect to the real scenario, you will have some public IP in this if you implement this strategy on your environment. So 10.10.50.3, 10.10.50.3, what is the zone? So this zone, selection of this zone comes from the one of the parameter on the firewall. Like I said, that the first process that happens on Palo Alto Firewall with respect to Destination NAT or with respect to packet processing is the route lookup. So we are hitting 10.10.50.3. So firewall will receive its packet on ingress interface, and based on that it will see that what is destination. The destination over here would be 10.10.50.3. So firewall will have a lookup in the routing table. In the routing table, if you will see using this command, you will see that 10.10.50.0/29 is having next hop IP address 10.10.50.2, which is ether1/1, and ether1/1 over here is configured under WAN zone. Ether1/1 10.10.50.3 is destination IP. Remember, route lookup, first step, firewall performed route lookup for 10.10.50.3 and it found that it's configured on ether 1/1 or it's routed on ether 1/1, could be this position. So based on that, it will select ether 1/1, which is having this IP address configured over here 50.2, and so security zone is WAN. You look here, is very important point, WAN. So in the policy section, you have to define destination NAT original packet request is coming from WAN. Destination zone, this is the step which based on the firewall or based on your imagination you configure over here, so that what firewall will decide. This comes that where your this pool is routed. Okay, I'll make another video to clarify this point in more detail. So this is how we select this destination zone over here. This would be WAN zone, because firewall decided that my IP, which is destination 10.10.50.3, is connected on 1/1 interface, which is in the WAN zone. That's why we selected destination as WAN zone. And destination interface is 1/1, we saw in the routing table. And destination addresses are DNAT WAN RDP. So I already configured this. I'll show you in the objects section. It's 10.10.50.3, and translated IP address would be static IP destination NAT LAN RDP, which is 192.168.1.3 IP. So first part is routing, then the NAT comes into the firewall engine, processing engine, and based on that it will decide that where should I NAT this 10.10.50.3 towards 192.168.1.50. So this is the NAT policy, but you need to allow the traffic for this policy as well in the security section. So we'll configure a security policy over here, like DNAT LAN RDP. In this case, source traffic is coming from WAN. Source address could be anything, but in destination zone over here you have to select post NAT zone. Post NAT zone is LAN. You see over here, destination address you have to select pre-NAT address. Pre-NAT address is my DNAT WAN RDP, which is my public address. Application any, action any, you can restrict based on applications once you configure dynamic destination NAT. So currently there is no need. So the first part is route lookup. Firewall will have a route lookup based on the destined interface or destined IP address. Based on that, it will select the interface, egress interface and zone. Once it's selected, because it's selected, it will select WAN zone on the NAT policy. That's why we configured this this destination zone WAN over here. If we have a scenario where one of our segment which we want to NAT is located, or the IP address which we want to use for destination NAT is located on one of the segments of the another router behind the firewall. So in that case, firewall will have a routing entry for that, and it will definitely route towards the interface and the zone of that routing entry based on its route lookup. So in that case, this will change over here, because currently we have the routing entry, because firewall is locating the 10.10.50.3 on ether 1/1, which is the WAN zone of the firewall. So now we are going to commit the changes and we'll verify the changes. I'll apply the commit, and after that I'll come back. Till that I'll pause the video. So the policy is successfully applied and commit changes are configured successfully. Now we are going to see the results. So from my LAN machine, I am going to initiate one ICMP request towards 10.10.50.3. 10.10.50.3 is the public IP address in this lab, and it's mapped to my LAN server IP address. I'll show you my LAN server over here. So this is my LAN site. I have IP address 192.168.1.50 over here. 1.50 is mapped to 10.10.50.3. So inside the firewall we'll have some traffic as well. So you can see over here it's coming from WAN and going to LAN. Source is 192.168.90.99.3, which is my physical IP address on the machine. You can see over here my physical machine. 10.10.50.3 is the destination, and the application is ICMP ping. You can see over here, we'll try to see the destination NAT. Source is this, and Ethernet interface is 1/1 and is going to 192.168.1.50, which is my NAT IP address. So this is how you can configure, but you have to consider the point which I explained you, that the route lookup will decide that what destination zone in the NAT policy you have to decide. So based on the routing, you should know that where this packet will be destined and where firewall select the exit interface. So based on that you configure the second destination zone in the NAT policy. So that's why there are source zone is also WAN and destination zone is also WAN. If you look with respect to logical perspective, you consider it as a loop, but logically the NAT policy over here, routing, this is based on the routing, but in NAT policy you map it to the one of the plain IP address, and inside security policy you define the traffic to be allowed for the respective NAT policy. So this is how you can configure. In next lab I'll have one layer 3 segment between my LAN, between firewall and my core switch, and then I will route to, and then based on the routing I will use some NAT strategy so that I can select some different what you can say destination zone over here, in order to clarify that what is the strategy and what is the processing behind this destination NAT traffic inside the firewalls. So this is how you can configure the lab, and I will also verify it but by having an RDP session from my, so this is 10.10.50.3 physical machine. You can see over here once I initiated the RDP, so on this screen got locked. So this is how you can configure destination NAT. Over here we should have some logs as well for this traffic for RDP. You can see over here MS RDP session allowed. So that's all for this lab. We'll see you in next lab hopefully. Thank you.